Hello, hello, hello. Oh, welcome to our week ahead reading. This is our reading for the week of June 29th. I'm going to get right into this. I want to share a few messages with you, and then I will go over a couple of the astrological things happening this week because this week there is enough going on. I want to tell you a bit of it. Um, but I'm going to show you our animal for the week first. If you're new here, basically I pull an animal card, generally an animal card and a rune, sometimes multiple runes. This case, we just have one for this week to tap into the energy of the week ahead. These readings are not like predictions. They are more, the intention of these readings is to give you the understanding of the energy that we're moving into so you can prepare accordingly, so you can be prepared and ready and open to meet the energy so that you can see how this energy might be aligning with you and what you're feeling, and also to just help you tap deeper into your own intuitive sense of the week ahead. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you so much for being here with me for these readings. Our animal this week, I want to show you, just go right into this, is Otter. And I will read a bit of what the Otter medicine means, but I want to share with you the message that I've gotten from Otter. I just been tapping in before I hit record, asking Otter if there are messages specifically from this animal as a guide for this collective this week. And Otter's message actually goes along with the rune we have, which is Dagaz, which is the rune of dawn, new beginnings. We've gotten this one quite a few times in the last few months. I'll come back to this. But Otter's message is that yes, this is a week of stepping into a new threshold. So there's this kind of new beginning energy, but also it's like not just specific to this week. We've been in this process of transforming from one way of being to another for months, for years in ways, honestly. So Otter's message is this week. This is a week where to step through this threshold, you cannot bring the old things with you. You cannot bring your old ways of relating. You cannot bring your old egos. You cannot bring your old wounds. You cannot bring your separateness, your otherness, othering others. You cannot bring the division. You cannot bring the cattiness. You cannot bring the discord, the anonymity. No, oh, wrong word. The dislike, the hatred, the disconnection, the judging of others. You cannot bring that with you this week, right? The amity, I think, is the word I want there, but that doesn't sound quite right. So whatever, we're just going to move on. So you cannot bring these things with you into this week. These things cannot come. If you are not willing to let those go, then know that you are keeping yourself in a cage of your own ego, right? This is not coming from me. This is not in judgment. This is a message from this animal guide. So this is a message. This is, if you are not willing to put aside like where you think you're right, where you think you're better, where you think you have the right of it and all these other people don't, if you're not willing to put aside the moral superiority, the like I'm on the high road, where you're judging others as being on a low road, if you're not willing to put those things to the side, you're going to miss this threshold. You're going to miss it. You might get 5% of it, 10% of it, but if you really want to walk through this threshold, you need to put that stuff down. And the actual word that I'm hearing is much stronger than stuff, but I want to keep this. PG as it were. This is a week where you might notice those patterns come up really strongly. The parts of you want to be like, I'm right and you're wrong. This group is right, that group's wrong. I have the right of it, they have the wrong of it. I'm superior, like morally or energetically or in some way to this, right? To this other group or these people or whatever. These parts of yourself may come up this week, and your job this week is to notice them and go and laugh at them. Laugh at them, not in like a making fun of yourself way, but like in the comic, the beautiful like cosmic comicness of it, where it's like, we're all just humans. Like no one is more right than someone else. Like what are you talking about? What are we talking about where we do this thing where we divide ourselves and we put ourselves on these different pedestals, and we say I'm right and they're wrong, and there's absolutely unequivocally there's no room for discussion here or critical thought or like hearing another side or whatever. We have done this so much in this current world. Like look how much conflict is happening in this world globally and in smaller groups. This is what we've been doing, and there's this cosmic like joke to it all. And can you see through the joke? Can you see through the joke and go, oh my God, I am holding this old energy. This is at the threshold. I'm at the threshold. And this old energy of like the cattiness and the division and the discord and the superiority and blah, 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 blah. All this stuff is here. It's like my baggage at the threshold. If I want to walk through this threshold, I've got to put that baggage down. Do I actually want to do that? Am I ready to do that? Your answer might be no. Your answer might be no. This might not be a threshold for you, right? But this is a big collective threshold. This is a really big opportunity this week for everyone who wants to take it, to walk through it. And in some ways, we're going to be collectively ushered through it, but we can then consciously decide if we want to walk through it individually or not, right? So you always have free will, but know that this is the threshold that's going to likely bring up some of these old ego patterns, and you get to decide, am I walking forward with it? Am I going to keep this ego pattern as part of, how I walk in the world, or am I going to laugh at the cosmic funniness of the fact that this ego pattern is present in me and everyone around me, right? Like all of us have this ego pattern, right? Every human has this ego pattern. But am I willing to acknowledge, to see it, to witness that ego pattern in myself and put it down? And like be open to, maybe there's something different. Can I laugh at myself for thinking I have all the answers? Can I laugh at myself for thinking I know everything? And like I'm a little child, right? Because that's part of Otter medicine. Otter medicine is the medicine of... it is the medicine of female energy. Woman medicine is like how it's discussed in the medicine deck I have that I'm working with. It is the medicine held by Otter is a set of lessons in female energy. This applies to both men and women, as all of us have female sides. There is this element of Otter that is very like curious, moves a lot, like doesn't want to fight unless it's attacked first. Otter will not start a fight unless it's attacked first. Otter is joyful, adventuresome, assumes friendliness. There's this balance with the feminine energy that comes with Otter. Balanced feminine energy, Otter teaches us, it is not jealous or catty. It is sisterhood, content to enjoy and share the fortune of others. So there's this element this week of sisterhood for all of us, whether you're a man or a woman, like whether you, like whatever energy you identify with, male or female. There is sisterhood for all of us. It could be inner sisterhood. It could be sisterhood with like your group or your community. It could be sisterhood in like the connection to the earth and kind of being connected to the feminine energy of the earth. Like there's so many ways sisterhood can come up, but there's this energy of sisterhood this week. There's also this like childlike play that Otter shows us. I mean, if you've ever watched otters, they are so fun and playful. So we have some of that. So we have that. So that was like the cosmic. I was talking about like the cosmic joke of it all. Can we see through and kind of laugh at ourselves and like humble ourselves a little bit, like remembering that we are just children, right? Like even if you are in this body, you're well past childhood. In a certain way, you are still a child, right? Energetically, spiritually, you are a child. You're a child of this universe. You're a child of this earth. Like we're all always children in a way, in a spiritual sense, right? Not saying necessarily in a physical sense. We have to grow up. That's one of the things that, and sometimes actually we've been bad at lately. Like we haven't been wanting to grow up. You see this like in the collective around us, right? For example, like talking about Otter and feminine energy, feminine medicine, we see this in the feminine right now. There's so much cultural like discourse around women not growing up. And so it's like the things on social media, for example, that are like, oh, just a girl, or like things of girlhood. And it's not womanhood. We're not talking womanhood. Like the trends are not about womanhood. It's about girlhood. Girl means like we use girl for child, right? And so there's this like kind of infantilizing energy, this little bit of like, oh, let's not grow up into a woman. That's not very fun, right? So we have a little bit of that going on collectively as well. So we're kind of playing with this energy with Otter medicine this week of balancing the like spiritually, we don't know it all. We are children in a way. Like we don't know the secrets of the universe. We're here on earth in these human bodies. We think we can think we know it all, but we really don't. So there's the child element, like the humble, I don't know it all. I still have things to learn always and be taught. And then there's also the balance of like, okay, and what's the inner feminine, inner woman aspect of my energy, of my being. Again, however this relates for you and your, connection to self. What is this older self, this more mature self that's saying, okay, what of this old baggage that is more of like the human child stuff? Because human children we are like making differences between each other, and we are figuring out where we fit. So there is this division that happens as part of the growing up process. And then as we get older, can we come back into this balance of like, oh, maybe I'm actually not that different than anyone else, but I'm holding all of this baggage that separates me and divides me like I am. So there's the older feminine energy coming in and being like, oh, okay, at this threshold, can I let this go, right? Can I leave this at the threshold so I can walk through and see what else is there? What else is a universe ready to teach me? What else is my soul ready to teach me? What else are the stars ready to teach me, right? So then there's also this element of Otter people. Otter medicine reminds us to express joy for others. So celebrate others this week too. Like if you have opportunities to celebrate those in your life, make sure you're taking those. Otter medicine reminds us to love without jealousy. It reminds us to share our bounty in life with others. If you're really resistant to like sharing with others, then this could be something this week that asks you to take a look at it and to really like examine why. No, again, without like judging yourself or shaming yourself, but just why. Like, what is that? What's there? Can I leave that at the threshold and realize that actually my bounty, like sharing my bounty brings this element of collective abundance, right? And that's true for all of us. Like if we all share our fortune with each other in whatever ways we have it to share, we're creating this energy of collective like togetherness and abundance and fortune. So we have that. Otter may be saying that the finer qualities of woman need to be striven for in both men and women so that a unity of spirit can be achieved. This would involve the destruction of jealousy and of all the acts of anger which stem from fear. It would mean keeping a hawk eye on your ego and maintaining total trust. It would mean a world full of people coming together to honor the right of each person to be. Otter may be telling you to become the playful child, to allow things to unfold, to stop your addiction to worrying, the importance of not hanging on to material things that bind you or become a burden, and then the joyousness in being receptive, being receptive into life, flow with the waters of universe. Balance your feminine receptive energy. So this is really profound. There's this beautiful, profound energy with Otter. Otter is asking us, to leave the old at the threshold and to be willing to step into something new. Otter is asking us to remember the childlike play and joy, but also to like really claim our feminine maturity and grow up to be able to leave things at the threshold, because guess what? We don't know. We don't have all the answers. And part of growing up is going, let me humble myself and see what else is here, right? Where can I walk forward? Where can I leave the old preconceived energies behind and come into more balance? Where can I share more? Where can I receive more, right? It's a give. Like, we don't just want you to give. We want to receive as well. So Otter is reminding us to come into this balance with our younger and older part of self, with our masculine and our feminine, especially with our feminine this week. And yeah, to see, like, as we reach the thresholds of this week, again, let me bring back in the rune. We have Dagaz. This is the rune of dawn, like I said, or new beginnings. We've had this rune a few times in the last few months. We have been in this cycle. We've been preparing for new beginnings for a long time. You may feel like you have gotten some new beginnings, and also like you might still be feeling like you're waiting for the new beginnings that have been on the way for a while. I will say in like my private like mentorships or group circles, things like that, the new beginning energy has been strong. I feel like honestly, I think I've said this even before in these weekly readings, like I'm kind of sick sometimes of saying new beginnings or even like seeing new beginnings in something, because like in a rune or a card, sometimes my human ego is like, what do you mean? Like there's still new beginnings here? Like what? This message has been strong for like more than a year, maybe a couple of years, honestly, at this point. Like, we have been we have been being shaped for this new beginning and walking through aspects of it for a while. And in some ways, I don't know if this threshold this week is the new beginning or not. There are definitely astrologers out there kind of singing that. and I'm not going to try and like go so deep into that astrology I don't know, but I do feel that this threshold this week is an important part of the dawning of something new. Maybe it's you've already stepped into something new and you're anchoring deeper into it this week. Maybe something new comes up for you this week. Maybe it's more collective and you're just watching, like we're all watching something unexpected happen this week. That's very much in the cards potentially. And so yeah, it's like being balanced, Otter teaching us balance and receptivity as we see what Dagaz has to bring us this week. So let me tell you the astrology bit of this. Astrologically, tomorrow, or today, when you're listening to this, I'm recording this the day before. So today, Monday, June 29th, is a full moon in Capricorn. It's at 8 degrees Capricorn. So this is full moons are completions. Capricorn is always a strong full moon because, Capricorn is a strong sign. It just is. So, full moon in Capricorn. We also have Mercury goes retrograde in Cancer on Monday as well, so on today. And then on Tuesday, on June 30th, Jupiter moves into Leo, which is a transit a lot of people are really excited about. I do want to temper that by saying Jupiter and Leo could be really beautiful depending on how it hits your chart. We cannot say, it's too generalizing to be like, oh, this rising sign will get this with Jupiter and Leo, and this will get that, because it totally ignores what planets you might have in Leo, what aspects you might have to Leo, all that, like all these things that are super specific to your chart. So if you really want to understand how Jupiter and Leo is going to impact you, you're going to want to go deeper. You're going to want to have someone actually look intentionally, specifically at your chart. But it does have the makings of potentially a really beautiful transit for some of us. I hope a lot of us, because Jupiter expands in Leo. Leo is all about being seen and like owning yourself, owning owning your light, right? So there is a really beautiful potential there, but then also like the shadow of Leo can be ego, right? And Otter is like, can we leave the ego at the door? Can we leave the old ego at the door? You're never going to be totally ego-free. I'm not asking you to totally get rid of your ego. Your human ego is part of who you are. But it's more the egos that like define us. The ego that's like unwilling, because we all have some part of this, right? Not a judgment, but the part of the ego that's unwilling to even consider that something else might be right and you might not have all the answers, right? That's the kind of ego that's like, can you leave that at the door? Can you leave that before you walk through the threshold this week? Can you be willing to put that down? And if you are like, I don't have that kind of ego, you definitely do. Ask someone else to show you. Ask someone you trust to reflect to you the blind spot you're not seeing. This is where we need other people, right? As soon as we think I don't have this anymore, like we're always going to have some parts of this, right? We're never going to be perfect without it. So this is a place where it can be really helpful to ask someone you trust to reflect to you, what am I not seeing? Because I just want to be aware, like what can I leave at the threshold that's actually not serving me? Right? Not from a place of like, I'm not good enough, but from a place that I have to like heal more or do more, but from a place of like, oh, what's not serving me that I could leave, right? So we have that. And then on like Friday, Saturday, 3rd, 4th of July, crazy that we're going into July this week. I can't believe it. But anyway, on Friday, Saturday, Mars and Uranus meet in Gemini at like 3 degrees of Gemini. And that is a transit that who knows what's going to happen. But Mars is aggression and action. Uranus brings things that are unexpected, big shakeups. And that one has the potential to be quite an intense transit or very surprising transit. So just be aware of that. So yeah, we've got big thresholds this week. And if you really want to look into the astrology, just go Google the astrology of this week. Google the Barbalt basket is what the astrology of July is called, the way it shows up on the chart, like the way it looks, the shape it's making. There's a French astrologer who has predicted quite a lot of things, or several things, a series of things that have happened because of the astrology, including the 2020 pandemic, and has made predictions about this July of 2026. It's too complicated for me to go into here. Again, I'm not an astrologer. I'm not going to try and explain it all to you. But if you do want to go into the astrology to layer on to the message that has come through here for this week ahead, that is where I'd recommend. That's what I would recommend Googling or looking at. So let me see. Just asking our collective energy, the spirit for our collective reading here. Is there anything else to share? You can do it. Whatever it is this week that is coming up for you to do, you can do it. You can do it. You just got to do it. There's this element of like, you can stop doubting yourself, but do it. Go do it. That feels like our last message. That feels like that completes this. So allowing that to close. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Allowing this reading to come to completion. Thank you so much, as always, for being here. I think we've got a really beautiful, exciting, hopefully, threshold week ahead. I'd love to hear how this week shows up for you. If you want to share anything in the comments or send anything to me directly, you can email me. I'll have my email address in the show notes, or you can reach out to me on Instagram or wherever. If you want to share anything about this week, would love to hear. Wishing you so many blessings this week. I hope that this is, as always, supportive for you as you move into the week ahead, and I'll see you next week.